guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Max and today we're going to be doing another games makeover of sorts in this sort of series. A while ago I did a Rubik's Cube makeover where I painted on all the individual squares, and I thought I'd continue the theme of games and decorate a pack of playing cards. That is what I'm doing today. I'm not going to be doing the entire pack because that'll take forever. I'm just doing the 12 cards that have the pictures on, so all the kings, queens and jacks. I am quite enjoying doing these videos. I'm probably going to do a chess set at some point, or like a Connect 4 game, or probably both. We'll see. I hope you enjoy the video. So here is said pack of cards. Enjoy it, behold its glory. It is just a regular, very standard pack of cards. There's nothing special about it. So the plan is that each different type of card is going to be represented by one of my 4 main OCs. The king is going to be the main OC, and then the jack and the queen are going to be like 2 of their kids. I painted them all white, masking taped them up, and I wrote the name of the character at the bottom of each card so that I didn't forget. So we're going to start with diamonds first, and this is the Jack of Diamonds, which is going to be represented by my OC Lilac. She is one of the daughters of Ace and Jake. She is the oldest of the triplets by 3 minutes. The way I've organised the children in the Ace and Jake family is that I've just put the blonde girls in Jake's set and I've put the ginger ones in Ace's set. Each of the sets has a different symbol that appears throughout all the cards. The diamonds, as you can see, have this branch that has little red berries on it. After I did the acrylics and they'd all dried, I went over the edge of all the different characters with a biro pen. I noticed that with the diamonds, because the symbol is a red diamond, it looks a little bit like a plumb bob in Sims when the Sims are really low on their needs and they're really unhappy. I didn't do that deliberately, I just think it's quite funny. Once I was finished, I peeled off all the masking tape. And let's start with Ava Jane. She is the oldest of all of the sisters. And to start with, I made her ginger because I got confused, but I did fix that. Then I gave her the same colour top as I did with Lilac, and that didn't go very well because it made them look very similar because they're both blonde girls with purple tops. I did go back and change that later, but it was only until I'd finished most of it that I realised that I'd made a mistake. I kept the design consistent with Lilac's card. I gave her all the branches and I gave her the red border. I started to do the biro, but then I realised that I'd done the wrong colour of shirt, and so I had to stop about halfway through and go and correct that, which wasn't very helpful because I'd already drawn the branch and I had to get in between all of the different sticks, which I didn't really cover as much of the pink as I would have liked, and you can still see it a bit. But it's fine. I went around the rest of it with biro, and when it was finished, I peeled off the tape. And the last of the diamonds cards is Jake, who is the king, and I gave him a slightly different design. I had him be standing up so you could see a lot more of him, and I gave him a big sword that he was holding. All of the king cards have massive swords, and I gave him a little fluffy robe thing that's like a kingly gown, I guess. I did still include the branches with the berries, but I added the plumb bob looking things either side of him instead of above his head, and I made his outline border thing grey instead of red because there was already quite a lot of red due to his regal gown. Once he had dried, I gave him his outline with the biro pen. Please ignore my headphones cord, that's just decided to rudely intrude on the frame. I will move it in a second. There we go, it is gone. And once Jake was finished, I removed his masking tape as well. And here is the finished set, ruined by my manky table. And the next set we'll be doing is the other half of the Jake and Ace family, which is the Spades. I picked Spades because the Ace of Spades has always been Ace's symbol, because his name's Ace of course, and because the Spades card has just like one massive ace in the middle and it looks slightly different from the other ones. I started with his daughter Rosie, who is the middle child in the set of triplets. The motif for this set was just an ordinary branch with leaves. I suppose we could say that it's an olive branch if we wanted to give it some sort of deeper meaning, but that's up to you. I put the ace on top of their heads as I did with the other ones, and I gave them all a black outline. May I just point out that all of the Ace and Jake daughters have been named after flowers, which I did deliberately, other than Ava Jane, because she was born first and she's named after their grandmas. Moving on to the next card, which is Primrose. She is, I think, my favourite of the triplets. I know you're not meant to have favourites, but, you know, it's not like she's my kid, it's allowed. Probably just because her hair's very pretty. I like the waviness of her hair. And also she always wears yellow because Primrose is a yellow, and I think that's very sweet. And also because she's just like the nicest of all the daughters. Like Ava's the brave one, Rosie's the cheeky one, and Lilac's the sasspot, but Primrose is just a lovely girl who's just nice to everyone all the time. The colour I painted her shirt is a very yucky colour and I regret picking it. I guess it does sort of tie in with the browns that I've used, but I prefer a more like bright and vibrant yellow for Primrose. I don't really like the yellow ochre sort of look. And let's move on to Ace, their dad. He's the king, as you can see, and his sword is a little bit skinnier than everyone else's, I've just noticed just now, and I'm not sure why that is. That's just the way that it's turned out. Anyway, I gave him like a cloak that's black and a shirt and trousers combo that's red, because, I don't know, his hair's red. I guess the colour scheme makes more sense if there's other red things on the card. I don't know, it was just a decision. And I will use this opportunity to let you know that all of the cards have their eyes closed, except all the kings who have their eyes open. And open eyes were very difficult to paint because they're just like 3 dots on top of each other. And it's a very small canvas, so they just look like, well, 3 dots on top of each other, and they smeared a bit, but it's okay. The biro pen tends to neaten up all of the nastiness that goes on. I'm not really a fan of Ace's card, just because it doesn't really look like Ace, like his outfit's a bit too manly for him. And here is the final set. Next we're going to be doing the hearts, which is of course Toby, because he's just the loveliest man in the world. And we're starting off with Tegan, who is one of the twins, Tegan and TJ, and she is wearing orange, which is interesting. I don't know why I put her in orange. She's normally a yellow and blue sort of girl, but okay. And the motif for this one is just little red flowers, which were actually very difficult to draw because, you know, they have little individual petals, which just got sort of lost in translation a bit, and they look more like poppies now, which I guess is fine, because they always said that if they had another daughter, they would call her Poppy, so I guess it's a sort of homage to her and her non-existence. I also did the hearts symbol a bit differently to the others. I put them one on the top and then I put one either side because, I don't know, there was a space there and I thought it would look good. And I also gave them red borders, as usual. And next we're doing TJ, who is the second of the twins, and I feel like if Toby had a favourite kid, it would be TJ, but he doesn't have a favourite kid because, you know, he's a good dad and he doesn't compare his children. But TJ is basically just a carbon copy of Toby. He's just like a younger version, and he's adorable and lovely. I gave him a blue jacket because his dad's favourite colour is blue, and because Toby can't wear blue because he's in the red set, I just thought I'd put TJ in blue. TJ does stand for Toby Jr., if anyone was wondering, but I think that was probably obvious. He looks very sad in this drawing. I don't know why, I don't know what's happened that's made him so upset, but he is upset. And moving on to Toby, who really doesn't look like himself because red isn't his colour. He doesn't look good in red. He just looks like Jake when he wears red. He's more of like a spring and winter colour scheme instead of a autumn summer colour scheme, so it doesn't suit him at all, but it had to be done. And for some reason his sword seems much thicker than everyone else's. Compared to Ace's, it's like twice as big as Ace's, and I don't think that's very fair, because I don't think Toby really needs a sword, because he's a very peaceful person. He's not really going to be stabbing anyone up, so I think he should probably swap swords with Ace, which they can't because they're not real, and also they're two-dimensional, so I don't really know what I'm on about. His outfit's not really very regal other than the fact it's red. It's just sort of a jacket with its collar turned up, I guess. It's not really got any fluff or capes or anything. Moving on to the other half of the family, which is Jaden's, and that is the clubs, which is the only one left. And here is TJ, not TJ, JJ, who is Jaden Jr. He isn't holding anything. I don't know why. All of the children are holding the little motif, but I didn't make him hold one, and I can't remember why that is. I think I just forgot. I put a little club on his shirt instead to fill the space, but it just doesn't look right compared to all the other ones. So Toby Jr. is like a carbon copy of Toby, but Jaden Jr. is less so with his dad Jaden. He's more sensitive and he lacks a lot of confidence, and he does really try to be like his dad, but he does struggle quite a lot. His dad doesn't expect him to be just like him, it's just because he's got the same name as him. He feels like he's just sort of got a lot of expectations put onto him to like inherit the Jadenness, if that makes sense. Anyway, here is Ebony. She is the youngest child, and she is, she's quite an interesting person. She's like the quiet kid at school, the classic stereotypical quiet kid. She doesn't talk much, but there's a lot going on in there. I feel like Ebony is more Jaden-like than Jaden Jr. is. She has the same sort of qualities as him. She's interested in the same sort of things as he is. And when Jaden was younger, his temperament was very similar to how Ebony's is now. He was very much the quiet kid who was a little bit sinister and weird. And here he is now. Speaking of, here's Jaden. I kind of went all out with his outfit, except why is his sword so tiny? I don't understand why him and Ace have small swords. Like, Jaden's sword should be bigger than everyone else's. That's just how it's supposed to be, because he's the violent one. Anyway, before I got distracted, his outfit it's got everything. It's got the jacket, it's got the belt, it's got the cloak, it's got the fluffy thing on the back. And he looks very cool, I think. I gave him a red outline to balance out the dark colours, and he looks quite cool, except his sword's tiny, which kind of detracts from the whole vibes. I did add patterns on his sleeves with the biro just to make the outfit even more cool. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Here is the finished all of my cards in one massive pile. I really like them. Let me know which was your favourite in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye!